Hello students, welcome to MBA 360. Today we're going to discuss about VGSOM, which is Vinod Gupta School of Management. We've been discussing a lot of institutions which are beyond the IIMs but as good as IIMs, at least in the bottom half or even the top half for that matter. But we were discussing institutions which are very good, which must be a part of your consideration set. In that, for sure, VGSOM, which is Vinod Gupta School of Management, definitely must figure in. The VGSOM was established in 1993 as the first management school within the IT system. Till then, there was not a single IIT which was offering an MBA. VGSOM was the first one to offer that. It was created to merge business education within the institute's technical and research strengths. Its flagship MBA program is a 2-year MBA program. It's a full-time residential program emphasizing analytical management, technology-linked decision making, and also industry engagement. It's got very selective CAT-based admission and strong industry ties. VGSOM has built a credible position among India's leading public MBA programs, reflected in its student profile and also the placement outcomes that VGSOM regularly and very specifically delivers to all its students. Let me take you through data of what VGSOM is and why it must be a part of your consideration set. And before I move any further, please subscribe to MBA 360 if you've not already done that. Shows your love, shows your support. It helps us keep doing this good work. VGSOM was established in 1993. Right. So 33 years is what it's been in existence. When you have an institution with such a long legacy, its alumni is all over the place because mind you, when it's 33 years old, it means about 32 batches have come out into the market and are working in different places in the world, right? When that happens, typically the alumni connect is so strong that your placement also really benefits out of that, which is what I'll be able to show it to you as you move along, right? It's an INI because it's a part of IIT. All IITs are INIs, which is Institution of National Importance. What it means, it actually has greater autonomy to create, innovate, and open up many more courses, specifically as the world moves ahead and as technology moves ahead, they'll be able to, without taking permission, they can actually sit together and decide that this course is important or this subject is important and change the curricula depending on how it works out for them. It's a massive campus, IIT Kharagpur, 2,100 acres. The total student strength is 270 for this particular program, of which about 70% are boys and 30% are girls, right? And about 85% come from outside the state, about 12% within the state. It's 1.85%, about 5 students come from outside the country also, which is very good. It's got about 23 faculty members. For 270, it essentially means they got one faculty for 12 students. Right. When you actually have 1 for 12 students, it is very good. It is typically 1:15 is what is recommended. Now about the placement. We always first of all show you the placement data that is submitted to the Government of India, Ministry of Education, which is for a purpose called NIRF, National Institutional Ranking Framework, where all the colleges submit all the placement data to this particular ranking agency, which is a part of the Ministry of Education, Government of India. So to that extent, it's a bit more authentic, a bit more credible, and a bit more trustworthy. So which is where we first rely on that. But whenever we deal with that kind of data, it's slightly dated, which is where the problem is. Like this 20-24, by the way, and moved, so 20-24 batch we are talking about. In 20-24 batch of the 206, which is the sanctioned intake that they had, 125 students were admitted. Or the 125 students admitted, 124 passed out also, graduated, right? So 125 students were admitted, 124 graduated. So the admitted percentage is about, the percentage of placement is 99.2%. Of course, I do have a problem of so many seats being vacant, about 81 seats being vacant. I don't know what exactly it is. It is an NIRF data. For me, there is a lot of, lack of cohesiveness in this particular data. But I'm showing it to you as submitted. So there is nothing that I'm adding, deleting in this whole thing, right? But from the students who graduated, which is 124 students, 99% students were placed, right? 125 graduated, 124 were placed. One student was not placed. But from the number of seats that are there, 60%. But for a moment, this seems to be a question mark, so leave it for a moment. Let's deal with 99% as a placement rate here, right? Now, of this 99%, when you look at the kind of salary that they offered, right? Again, the 20-24 batch we're looking at it, the median salary was 20.65 lakh rupees. Earlier it was 22 lakhs, so there is a fall of over 7-8% here. The highest salary is 37.07 lakh. Right, when you actually have median of 20 lakhs and highest of 37 lakhs, it augurs well for all students, which means that the salary level is equally spread out, evenly spread across the board, right? The average salary is 20.83, which is very close to what median salary is. Right, 20.65 being the median salary and 20.83 being the average salary. The top 10% is 31.62. The top 25% is 27.45 and the top 50% is 24.48. So when you deal with 24.48 being the top 50%, and you deal with the average salary of 20.83, which essentially is 20.83 into 2, which is 41.66, right? Now, 41, from there you remove 24.48. We're dealing with 0.18 and 17. So the bottom half is 17.18 lakhs is the 50%, bottom 50%. Right. So what we're talking of is the top 50% is earning 24.48 lakh and the bottom 50% is earning 17.18 lakhs, which is what I'm saying. It's very, very evenly spread out in terms of the salary structure. No big salary hike at the top is messing or skewing the ratio in favor of the top half as compared to the bottom half. It seems to be evenly spread out, which is very good news for all students, which means that all the 125 students had a very fair chance of getting the best salary, and they landed up at a certain range where the median is equal to the average, and the bottom half and the top half, there's not much of a difference. It's only 7 lakh rupees, which is very, very good news for all of you. By the way, this has been pretty consistent if you notice the whole thing, but for this particular year in 21-23, where it has been across the board higher, it's been pretty consistent in terms of 19, 20, and even placement percentage, if you notice, is about 99-100% always, right? Now, where do these people who, what are the kind of companies that come for placement? When you look at that, you actually have all kinds of companies. I always say a good B school normally places students in consulting strategy roles also, and a bad B school places students only on business development and sales. I don't for a moment say that is wrong or that is right, but I'm saying a good B school will have all kinds of profiles coming in for placement, and a good B school will have all kinds of companies, tech, consulting, finance, banking, FMCG, conglomerates, all this kind of companies must come in for placement, which is what you notice here. For example, when you see this, Accenture, Boston Consulting, Bain & Company, which is into consulting, Blinkit, which is a startup company, Deloitte Consulting, Flipkart, PwC, EY, Tata Administered TAS is coming in, Adani a conglomerate, Reliance a conglomerate, Innova, Mahindra a conglomerate, Tata Motors Automotive, L&T conglomerate, JSW, Godrej, ITC, HUL, P&G, Nestle, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Amazon, Flipkart, Microsoft Tech Company, Goldman Sachs Investment Banking, JP Morgan Investment Banking, Morgan Stanley Investment Banking, HSBC Bank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, HDFC Bank. So you actually have banks, investment bank companies, strategy, consulting companies, tech conglomerates, industrial houses from India. Every kind of company is going there for placement. It essentially means that the placement here is extremely, extremely good, that these kind of companies are going for placement. Now moving ahead, we also looked at the LinkedIn to understand how many of the students who studied at VGSOM and what exactly they're doing, because it's been there for 33 years. So obviously you would actually have a lot of students out there in the market. We found 1,551 students on LinkedIn who studied at VGSOM. And when we looked at that, about 18 of them right now are working in Tatas, because remember Tatas is going for placement. 40 are working in PwC. Remember PwC is also going for placement. Deloitte 37, Accenture 22, and Wipro 37. Go back to the companies that I showed you earlier where they were coming for placement. You will find all these companies. And by the way, over the year in Tata's 262 students worked there, of which many would have moved on and joined other companies or grown up the ladder and all. And then similarly with PwC, you can actually see at some point in time how many students actually worked in these companies and then moved on from there. As of now, so many people are working right now there, right? Now further moving on, we also wanted to understand how are the students, where are they located, where are they placed, and so on and so forth. When we looked at that data, 95% are working in India, which means 5% are working outside of India, right? Now, of the 5%, you actually have 25 students working in USA, 9 in UK, 5 in Canada. But more than that, 24% are in West Bengal because, of course, it's Kharagpur. Karnataka, 14%, software capital of India. 13%, of course, in Bangalore, Karnataka, and Mumbai, 7%. Because remember, the conglomerates, the big companies that are going there for placement, and Hyderabad. So you actually see this trend across the board, that you will actually see Bangalore, Bombay, Hyderabad, and maybe at times Delhi also coming in, which is the kind of companies, people when they join a big company, they're normally placed in these kind of locations, which is what you see it very, very clearly here. I will keep covering a lot more B schools as you wanted. If you want me to cover a B school of your choice, please write to me here and I'll be happy to cover that. Thank you so much. Namaste. And please do subscribe to MBA 360 if you've not already done that. Thank you so much.